And for a couple of years, I worked at Texas Instruments in Dallas,
Hey, okay.
research labs. And that's about the time they were trying to make calculators not this big and not $700, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was a great job. And then our son was born, and I thought, I don't think this is what I'm cut out to do. I'm getting paid. I go clock in. But I kept, at 3 o'clock, I would look at my wrist and say, can I go home and play the guitar yet? So now I'm in Dallas, and there's a music store that's opened, and one of the owners of the store had been at an Andre Segovia master class. So they were really drawing some other good teachers, and I was teaching guitar there. And all of a sudden, I found my people, you know. So I was working with other teachers and other students for 2 or 3 years, and along the way, other good classical players came to town and would do workshops. So Pepe Romero came and did some things, Christopher Parkening. So I got to sit down. I remember taking off my thumb pick and because now I wasn't going to be a classical player anymore, you know. So for
Okay.
a while, and that's when I found nylon strings also. And now I play, but it looks to a non-classical player, I look like a classical player. To a classical player, they go, maybe not, you know, because there's still a lot of us from Nashville in the way I play, you know. So, and then somewhere along in there, I think one of my students, Chet Atkins, was going to come and play with the Dallas Symphony,
Hmm.
and so I knew the players, so I knew that if you wanted to meet Chet Atkins, go to the rehearsal. Don't hang around after the show because he's going to sit down and do
Oh,
nothing, you know.
okay.
So a couple of my students and I went to this rehearsal, and what I remember was introducing myself, and he said, "John Knowles." He said, "I think Rick Foster showed me some of your music," and I thought,
Really?
"What?" This, because how guitar players are, we trade licks, and
Yeah.
somebody had gone to Nashville, and Rick had showed him one of my things, and so at that point, Chet says, he hands me his guitar, and he says, "Show me what you're working on." And,
Wow.
and so now I realize now that was one of those things he knew how to do was kind of get everybody out of hero worship mode and
Okay.
into collaborator mode, you know.
I see.
And so it didn't dawn on me how much he has suckered me into playing. And we were swapping licks, and I showed him. I think the first thing I showed him, my wife's mom and dad had been to see that movie, The Sting, and they
Okay.
said you should go see that movie. I think John would like that music. And so one of the things in it was the entertainer, you know.
Yes.
And so
I used
I
to
showed
play that on
him,
the piano.
yes, and it's the key of C, and I figured out if you could change it to D, you get that low run we play.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And that's about all I had worked up at that point. And Chet said, finish that up and send it to me.
Okay.
And so we were collaborators now.
So that's the first time you met Chet
That's the first time
Atkins?
I met him, and within 20 minutes, we're working on a project. And I watched him. A songwriter would come in and do a song, and Chet said, "Well, give me a cassette of that song and show me that lick you're using for the intro." And he was absolutely just like you and I are about it, kind of
Just down to
nurturing it
earth
and just
and
loved it, you know.
easygoing.
Yeah.
He awarded you the honor of CGP, Certified Guitar Player. Oh, say that fast 3 times, right? How did that honor come your way? I mean, it's well deserved, but
Well,
how did that happen?
what I remember was Chet started using those initials after his name about the same time he went from RCA Records to CBS, and they were trying to
Okay.
reach a different audience than the country audience. And so
Okay.
he had gone through all these. He'd been Chester Atkins in his galloping guitar. Then he was Chet Atkins, the country gentleman. Then he was Mr. Guitar. And I think he was trying to come up with a new thing. So CGP. And he didn't tell us what it was at first. And we all started guessing. And one of the guesses was certified guitar player. He said, yeah, that could be it. And I found out later
Could be it.
it was country guitar picker. So that's what it was. And then we had the Chet Atkins convention in the summer, and he and I had gotten to where we would teach tunes in a kind of a large group setting, and so he would be the demonstrator and I would be the explainer.
Oh, okay.
So it was really fun to do that, to work with him. Um, he and I really understood each other, and we kind of knew which one of us had which thing going at a given moment. We
Right.
worked together. But I remember him saying, "Let me get John Knowles up here," and I thought, well, we're gonna teach a class something, and he said, "You stand right here," and then he pulls out this thing right here and starts reading it, and it says, "To all who may see these presents, greetings. Know ye that whereas," and it goes all the whereases, and it's
Yeah.
about our friendship and relationship. And he says,
Oh,
"Therefore, I, Chet Atkins, with the power I have bestowed upon myself, hereby present my friend the award which I may show," and so on. So first degree, and so that's it, and he signed it and the whole thing, So and it looks
wow.
like a diploma,
Yeah.
so it kind of it says something a whole lot about the whole teaching thing that we were doing together. But occasionally, well, the first thing I did was I wrote some arrangements of more movie tunes for that
Oh,
album that had the entertainer on it.
okay.
And then when I moved to town, he would write a half a song and say, "I've got this song started. Come over to the office. I'll teach you
Wow.
what I've got, and you can come up with the rest of it." So we would co-write A section, B section, like that. Um, and
Sort
then
of like you're finishing each other's sentences almost.
exactly, yeah. I remember. I'll show you real quick. This is crazy. And he did this with a lot of players. He was a record executive, so he would be on the phone and returning his calls, and he would say to whoever was in the room, "Play me some music while I return my phone calls." And if he got to something interesting, he would put somebody on hold and say, "What are
Wow.
you doing right
Oh,
there?"
wow.
So one day he said to me, he put somebody on hold and he said, "Tune the fourth string down a fret." And so I did. And it makes that ninth chord like we all make this way. And I fiddled around. I thought, why is he doing that? And then when he got off the phone call, he took my guitar and he said, "You can play the blues with one finger." So we got all the leftover fingers to play blues licks.
Hi, if you enjoyed this video, then you're going to love John's entire interview. You can listen at the link down below. And you may want to look at the other videos here on my YouTube channel. And as I like to say, play on.